In this video, I'm going to show you how to upload products onto eBay using a CSV spreadsheet. In this case, we will start with a Google Sheet template, which, by the way, I've provided, so you can go ahead and get a copy of this Google Sheet template as well, so you can follow along. And once we fill in the template, we will simply download this to a CSV, upload it to eBay, and the listing or listings will be created. Now, for right now, I'm going to only work with one product from a specific website. But once you know how to do this for one product, you pretty much know how to do it for a number of products. And as far as actually getting the data from the products, there are other ways, other things we can do to get data from more products at once when we want to do a larger number of listings. But for right now, I just want to show you how to actually build the data into the CSV so that the products can get uploaded to eBay. So I'm going to work with this specific product on this specific website, which is kmart.com. And what I'm going to do, first of all, is start with the very left in the first column of this Google Sheet. And in fact, before I even do that, when you get the copy from me, use File, Make a Copy. Make sure that you select My Drive for the folder. Create a copy, first of all, of the template. So that way you always have the original. The original's there. I've made a copy that I can actually edit. Okay. Now, the first column is going to be the action. Since you are creating a listing, you will simply put the word add in that column. So that's the first column. The next thing is the custom label. That is the SKU. I'll skip that for now. Or actually, no, I won't skip it, because actually, since I already have chosen a product to list, I can go ahead and build the SKU. And so typically, if we're talking about something like drop shipping, typically the supplier is really sort of a big deal. And so the supplier itself can be actually used to identify the product in the SKU to make it a little easier for yourself. You can say like Kmart dash, for instance, and then I like to use, say, like the product ID off of the URL. You don't necessarily have to be this precise and do it this way, but that's something that I typically like to do. But you don't necessarily have to do that, right? But just for instance, you can do your label SKU that way. Technically, it's actually optional, but it's a good idea to have some way of... Actually, you do need it when you do a lot of products, so I would highly suggest actually putting that in there. Okay. The other thing is the category. So the category we'll have to come back to, because that requires a category code, and that's something that we have to get into. I'll have to come back to. Now, the store category, in fact, keeping in mind that I'm just looking at one product, I keep kind of not thinking about the fact I'm used to doing a list of products. Since I'm doing just one product, actually, what I will do is I will take the product and search it on eBay. So it's important that I have this page for the seller options, but I also need to have like a general search page where I can do this kind of stuff. Okay. So on this search page, what I'm doing is I'm looking for basically a similar product to the one that I'm listing. So since I'm listing basically a bath mat, I can see categories here, right? And once you go into this final category, which is what you really need, the category at the end, you see bath mats, rugs, and toilet covers. So if you look up in the URL, you'll notice there is a number here. So this number is actually the category. That's your category code. So you can take that number, copy it, go over to the spreadsheet and just paste that under category, paste special values. And so that's your category, right? So typically, if you were going to do a group of products here in the spreadsheet at once, you would want them to be under the same category. Okay, because otherwise you'd have to keep looking for individual categories for each one, right? So now for the title, it's quite simple. Just take the title, obviously, and copy it. Keeping in mind the title has a character limit, of course, on eBay. So I'll just copy this much of the title for now, paste it. There's a way to check the length of a title, and you can use a simple formula, which is equal len, open parentheses, click on the title, and you see that the length is 35, for instance. All right, that's the length formula. So if I had a bunch of titles in here, I could actually just copy this formula down, and it would give me the length of each one. Okay. So that's something you can do, and I probably could slip in a few more words. I'm not sure how much more of this will fit in, but I'll just kind of throw it in and see what the length is. It's still under 80. It's at 62. So I'll leave it there, right? And I'll probably just take out this Buganda part and just make it memory foam soft bath mats non-slip absorbent bathroom. Okay. All right. So for this video, I just want you to see the actual structure here. Now, as you can see, I did highlight some of these. I downloaded this template from eBay, but I modified certain formatting to make it more clear. So these 3 columns I'm not using. Okay. And in fact, I can even use a right-click hide just to kind of get them out of the way. Okay, so I'm not using those. The next one is the brand. The brand is necessary, right? And oftentimes, if it's not like a really major brand where you know that people will know the brand, like a Nike brand or something, a brand like Nike, I'll just put on branded in this case, and that's the brand. Okay, this stuff might be optional. But however, there might be cases where they do want you to fill this stuff in. It depends on the category, right? The next part is the picture URL. Okay, so I'll skip over to this next green section. I can just copy the image address from here and just paste it in here, right? And okay, and actually something I may want to do is just open that up and see if it actually does open the image. Okay. All right. Okay, and hopefully that comes out okay once I put it in. I'm just kind of looking at that URL. Okay. So for the description, so you'll notice I have certain things filled in here just because a lot of times they don't change. So like fixed price is the description. Hold on, fixed price is actually the format. I think these are out of place. So fixed price is the format, and the duration is GTC. Okay, so that was a bit out of place. The description, of course, is now the description of the product. So you can actually put that whole description inside of that description box, okay, description column. So going back to the product again, I need to look for some kind of description here, the product. So for instance, again, for this video, I just want you to see how to get this stuff in there. There are other things that I know how to do with spreadsheets and to like modify the text, things like that. But basically right now I'm just going to highlight and copy and paste. Okay, and actually let me demonstrate that because it's a bit different from a typical copy and paste. So because I'm just taking this, I'm going to take this whole thing and copy it. And by the way, I can also view a full description here. Let's see. Okay, I'll just take this part and just right click and copy it. Okay, what I'm going to do is go into this cell, right inside the cell, and paste inside. So in other words, I'm not going to do this, right click paste. Okay, that could work. It did work in this case, but sometimes, depending on the formatting, that could have been a problem. So typically with something like a description, I'm going to click inside up here into this formula bar and then actually paste. All right, and the description is now in there. Okay. The other thing is the price, right? So also with the price, I do have things that I would typically do that I can use formulas, and so that if I have like a whole list of prices, it will automatically figure out new prices for me based on a desired markup or whatever. However, right now, I'm just going to kind of throw something in here, right? I'm just going to throw $40 or maybe even $50 in as a price. Okay. I'm doing this very loosely for this particular video, so that's going to be my start price, just 50. Okay, and I'll just throw that in. Okay, again, I left the ones that are really optional, the blank format. Quantity, I have it preset to 1. And typically, if you really know what you're doing and you're sure about what you're doing, you can put 1. Otherwise, you can put the quantity as 0. And then I can show you how to update it to 1. It's actually way easier to update listings than it is to add a new one. Okay, with the spreadsheet, I mean. So you can easily come back and update these and change the quantities when you're sure about the listing. Okay. Now the location. Again, this is from a dropshipping perspective, which is why I have this multiple locations. You can, with the CSV, actually just type in text, such as multiple locations. You can actually put a zip code in there as well. Okay, so it just depends on what you want to put. You're going to still use what you typically use, right? The other thing is the dispatch time. So this is basically the handling time. How long you expect to take maximum for the order to actually ship. Keep in mind, if you're drop shipping, we're talking about when the supplier ships it, and then you have that tracking number and you can actually ship it, right? So you might be able to order it the same day it gets ordered, but they might not ship it till later. So you want to use a handling time to reflect that. Okay, so whoever the supplier is, you know their typical shipping time, and if you always want to buy yourself time, so you can use probably a longer time, right? Again, these are being skipped, not using these. Okay, the other thing is, and in fact, I'm going to highlight these across. You don't have to do this, but I just like to do this, and then click hide columns and just hide these and bring these together. Okay, so that I don't have to even see the unused columns in between, right? Okay. The other thing is the returns accepted option. That's going to be returns accepted. Okay, I'm accepting returns. If you're not, then there's something else that goes here. This is the code for returns accepted. You do have to find out, if you're going to put something different here, what those are. Okay, and those can be looked up online. We'll have to look those up on eBay or on Google. But if returns are accepted, generally I'm just putting returns accepted here. Okay. Then we have the shipping profile. Shipping profile can be potentially very simple if you have shipping profiles in the first place. If for some reason you don't have shipping profiles already set up, well then, you're going to have to actually create shipping profiles. So I can show you here on my account here that I did sell on this account. As you can see, there's feedback and all that, but not currently selling on it. So I'm going to show you here on account settings. And then I'm going to go into business policies. Okay, and under business policies, we can see that these are the shipping policies I've set up. One for returns, for payment, and then I have a few different ones I set up for shipping. What I'm going to do is actually just take a look at this one. I set up free local with 5 business day handling. So I did name it according to what I expected to do with this particular policy. That way I can use different policies for different suppliers. So let's say if it's Kmart in this case, and I expect Kmart to have a certain handling, then I would use a certain policy with them. Okay, so this is just the name that you'll type in. When you create a policy, it's the same form that we're looking at. So just the name, the shipping method. Thinking mainly about drop shipping, I'm just doing the same cost to all buyers. It's very simple in drop shipping. I'm also going to offer free shipping, so I don't get involved with this stuff. Okay, I just offer free shipping. It's just a lot easier. And the handling time you have to choose as well, right? And choose whatever makes sense. It could be 7. If it needs to be 7, then I can change it to 7. Excluded locations, because a lot of these suppliers either might not ship to Alaska or Hawaii, or they might have a really high shipping charge to Alaska, Hawaii, or whatever. I'll just exclude, meaning I'm not going to ship, and I'll exclude some of these places. And I'm not concerned about the international, unless I've selected that international option where I'm willing to ship internationally, one of those programs. Then maybe I might have, then in that case you may have to exclude other countries as well. Like if you're in the US, maybe you may have to exclude these. All right, so you set up your policy depending on, you know, whatever you need it to be. And my purpose for this video is really just to show you how to put that into the actual spreadsheet. So the shipping profile name will be the actual name of the profile. So this is the name. It's the very same name. You just copy it and paste it in here. Make sure it's exactly copied correctly. Return profile name, same idea. Here's my return profile, 30 days, buyer pays shipping. If you're offering free returns, then that's a different setting that you'll have to choose when you set up that policy. Okay, so, but my policy, the policy I had here, 30 days, buyer pays shipping. Remember, you can have more than one policy. Okay, so you can have a free returns and you can have a buyer pays shipping. The other part is the payment profile. So the payment profile is the buy it now, immediate payment. Is the payment profile for the shipping policy. You pay special values on that. So it's just the name of the policy for that particular thing. Shipping, for returns, and for payments. Okay? And you're just putting the one that you want for this particular product. Now, these are item specifics, and they might not be required. In some cases, they might be required, depending on the product category. So some may require this stuff, and they'll tell you. So one thing with listing into a category you haven't listed in, and you know, there's always the possibility that you'll list products and get errors, and then you'll have to come back and get that data. Okay, and so I did also mean to mention, I did actually forget to mention this site, which is postimages.org, where you can actually, if you want a different URL, you can put save images and put them in here. Okay, you can also upload by URL, so you can take like an image address and put it in here, and it will give you back, once you upload it, you'll get back a new, well, it says it can't download the remote image. Okay, well, anyway, I'll you know, in another video I can work more with that. But basically, and there are a number of sites like this, and I'm not signed in. Usually I'm signed in. But there are a number of sites where you can basically drop a image URL from the website, and then you can get a new URL in case for any reason you don't want to use this original URL. But perhaps this one is already remote. It's already outside of Kmart, so might not even need that anyway in this case. So, okay, so that was one other thing I did want to mention. But basically, I mean, the core of this is ready to go at this point, right? Now, it took me a while to demonstrate it, but of course, it could have been done much faster, right? And if you're wondering, well, how on earth am I going to do this if I have like a bunch of products? So, you know, we'll look at other ways. I have things like a get data function, and you can use, you know, browser scrape, and the different things we can do that I've done that you might not have seen unless you follow me already, where we can get product data and things like that from a bunch of URLs at once. And so depending on the supplier, you may actually be able to come in and load up a spreadsheet with numerous products, numerous titles and descriptions and everything all at once, and prices and all of that. Right? So this is just setting up one product just so that we understand what actually needs to go into these columns. So again, make sure you get a copy of this Google Sheet, because this is the template that you can follow, and I've colored it in to make it a bit easier for you in using this particular in this process. So now at this point, I will just download this sheet. Click download and make sure you select CSV, because when you upload it, it needs to be a CSV. And now I'm going to go over to eBay, to the selling the seller dashboard. Yes, the seller dashboard. And what I'll do here, sorry, not the seller dashboard. I'm going to go over to listings rather. And this was not really a good account. This was an account where I just did a small number of listings and kind of forgot about the account actually. But so I don't mind just uploading something random here. Okay, so now I'm going to click on upload, and then please select the file you would like to upload. So then I'll click on choose file, and then here's the download. It doesn't really matter what the name is, as long as I know that this is the file. I can just go ahead, click the file, click open, and then it should upload that CSV. Now it might work and it might not work, because I'm not sure what item specifics are required, and then, you know, there are different things that could go wrong. So here it said not everything was uploaded, so it might not have actually worked in this case. I will click on download results, and this is very common to happen, again, especially when you list a product in a category and you're not too sure about that category. So one failed, so what I will do is download the results again, and then I will actually open that right here. Now I could import this because it's downloaded, but I'm actually going to read what it says here. It says the item specific color is missing. Add color to this listing. Okay. Enter a value and then try again, and then it just keeps saying the same thing over and over again. Right. I do want to look to see if there's anything else. Yes, they want the material as well. So they want material and they want color. So as you can see, so let's get back to the template. Although color and what was the other thing? The material, looking at the template now, although color, let's find that color. Okay, although color and material are not required in general on the template, they are required apparently for this category of products. Okay, they want that. eBay wants that on the listing. So where you have C color, that's one item specific color, you will just type in the name of the color. So the mat is gray. I could literally copy and paste the word gray over here, or I could just have typed it in myself. And they won't have every item specific possible here, so you may have to add the other one. All right, so the other one is material, so I'll put C : material, and I'll just put the material. Again, I need to go back to the listing and see what the material is. So I'll have to go through here and actually read it, right? And read through this description to find something of the material, or I can just use the title and sort of figure out what can work as far as the material, right? So I'm just going to kind of look through here. I'm just going to put rubber just to kind of get it over with right now. Okay. And part of it is rubber, so I'll just go ahead and put rubber as the material, right? And really, by the way, there isn't like a set list of things that you must put for these item specifics, right? So they are really just words. So whatever, but obviously when shoppers look at the listing, it should make sense, right? But just to say that, basically as long as you put a word here, it's going to work. Okay. So those two are the only thing that it said was missing, right? So what I'm going to do now, I know you might be thinking, well, again, if I have a bunch of product listings, one thing we can do also is if we can get descriptions from different products in bulk, we can have AI actually extract things like the material. We can have ChatGPT do that for free, right? And it can actually tell us the material of each product based on the description and things like that. So there are different ways that we can get this information from a larger number of products where we don't have to literally read every description and extract this information. Okay, with the AI today and all of that, there are different ways we can do that. All right, but again, for this video, just looking at one product. Okay, so now again, I'm going to do file download to a CSV, and then I'll go over again, back over to file uploads, and where is it? Listings. Where am I? Uploads. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. So I've got to go back to my eBay selling. I'm not on the seller dashboard. And I'll go back to listings, and then I'll go to upload. Okay. Choose file, and then this is the last file I just downloaded here at 5:16 a.m. That should be the file. And let's see if this one goes through. Let's see if it will let it list. Okay, again, not everything was uploaded. That's fine. I don't mind because I know that I didn't know ahead of time what was needed for this particular category. So I knew that I would have this issue. Okay, now it's saying that the item specific type, TYPE, is missing. So I'll do it a bit faster this time. Okay, type really just means what type of product it is, right? It's kind of a unit type. Just put mat. Okay, literally, just put mat. It's one mat. All right, and we actually could put the number 1 here to let them know it's one mat. Right, the unit quantity, unit type, meaning what is the word you use to describe the product unit, the product? It's a mat, one mat. Okay, like if it was a bag of sugar, it would be one bag. Okay, it's the same idea. Right, since it's a mat, one mat, and that's it. So I'll just download, file download, CSV. Again, I'll do it a bit faster this time. Listings, I have to click listings again to get that upload to reappear. Over here in our upper right hand corner, click on upload, choose a file, and then finally upload. And it should work because those were the item specifics it asked for, unless it has some other item specific that's going to come. Okay, so again, it's saying not everything was uploaded. So I'm going to look at it again and see if there's anything else. Okay, the item specific type is missing. It's still saying that. Yeah, it's still saying type. Okay, so I'm gonna. Okay, I'll go back to the unit type. Unless unit type is different from type, I think. Yes. Sorry. Okay, so unit type and type are two different things. I forgot about that. Yeah. So unit type would be if you were just like a bag, like if it was sugar and you were to say like 1 bag, for instance, right? So I don't actually need that. But type means what type of product. Okay, this is a different. This is different. Okay, so again, I'm going to download this to a CSV, right? And with the unfamiliar category, that can happen. But what you'll see is that I'll make a note on this category, right? Typically what I'll do is make a note on this category. And that way I know that these are things that that it's going to ask for. But again, also, if I have a list of products and if I have more automated ways of doing it, what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and extract those item specifics and upload them the first time, just in case. Okay, now as you can see, this time it went through. Okay, now if I click download results, we see that it went through. It says completed. And if you look at the result this time, this is actually really important. It also gives you the item ID, right? Now this is no big deal doing just one product, but had this been a whole list of products that I added with the CSV, I would really need to have that list of item numbers, because you see, most of us have gotten so used to just using software that these are things we don't think about anymore. How do we get our item numbers? Things like that. Okay, when you start using things like a bulk CSV, you've got to look out for these things. Okay, so that's the item number. And when you have a larger list, what you'll do, I'll just do it quickly. I just really want you to see a lot of little things. What I'll typically do is use file import and just bring that CSV in here. Okay, I won't actually bother with it at the moment, but typically I'll import that CSV in here so that I'll have like an actual list of all the item numbers. Okay, it doesn't really apply in this case because we only uploaded one product, so there's not a CSV with a list that I can really show you right now. Okay, now what I do want to do is go over to listings. And by the way, that item number, of course, because I have only listed one product, I can easily get the item number here. Okay, and I can just copy that item number and put it wherever I need it to go. Okay, now for this video, I was focusing just on using a CSV to build a listing, a product listing. And the thing is, there are other things, there's spreadsheets for other things that I have. For instance, I want to actually maintain these products in a list as well. If I'm not using software especially, I need to have a list of products, and so I have a spreadsheet for that. I don't have that open right now, but there's an eBay listing sheet that I'll use where you'll store the listings there and track your products there as well. So that is the other part of this. This is just listing the product, but then we also need to track those products and store them properly in a list. So I do have a template for that as well, specifically for dropshipping, eBay dropshipping product list tracker, or even in general, I have eBay listings and profit sheets just in general, because not everyone is dropshipping. Some people may be doing online arbitrage or whatever. All right, so the process might have seemed a bit lengthy here, but basically this was because we're not using all the technology that we could be using to do this. And of course, again, unfamiliar category. And then of course, the fact that I'm actually instructing, which naturally makes it slower than it is when you actually know how to do this. Right. So just keep all of that in mind. That is pretty much the process. And of course, again, remember that you do have to have these shipping policies ahead of time, or you need to create them before you do this. So you do need to have actual shipping policies. And by the way, let's actually just take a look at this listing. I haven't actually opened the listing on eBay. You'll see that the item is out of stock right now, which is actually good because I want to make sure that the listing is okay and everything is good with the listing. And then I'll show you in another video, I'll get that template ready where you can actually bulk update a bunch of listings and change the quantity to one so that they're all in stock or whatever you want your quantity to be. So that's another template, but it's a way simpler template. It's about 3 columns. Okay, I just don't have it open right now, so I won't spend that time in this video going and hunting down that template. But yes, that is what you will typically do. Is you will, after this process, you will then go back and update the quantity in bulk on the listings. Okay, so that's about it. Do check the description of this video. Make sure you get a copy of this actual template, and of course other spreadsheets that, as I mentioned, for eBay for tracking the products, even for product research and other things that are related, of course, to the whole process of selling on eBay. And I hope you found this useful and that you understood how everything worked here. If you have comments, questions, or suggestions, you can just leave them below in the video. And that's about it. Look forward to hearing from you, or I'll see you around on the channel.